What's up, double A's? What's up, TikTokians? The lights, just something weird just blinked in my room. When I turned this on, I had this little weird, I don't know, I saw it in my third eye, like a flash. Kind of like that door I saw a couple of days ago. How are y'all doing? I know there's a few of y'all that follow me and are this information should be helping you. It's telling you what's going on in the unseen right now. And please share these videos, and the more people that know about this, the better it is for everybody involved. It's just consciousness. It's just consciousness. And once you know what's going on, the illusions fall, and then we can all ride this star together like we're supposed to. But nobody's going to flip this star. And that's why I'm on. I'm on because I got a violation of a torn up nation. This is reminding me of one of my songs. I haven't sang it in a while. Hold on. I got... I'll sing y'all the first part. The heart of the matters that this nation is shattered. Do's, don'ts, hypocrite smoke piled up in layers, trapped in elevators with eyes you can't perceive till you follow your destiny. Angels, dragons, what the hell does it matter? Why can't we see? Are we so filled with the disease? Have to be brought to our knees? Screaming, God, oh why? 'Cause we know alligators can't fly. We are the saints of latter days. From the bayou we were raised, born evergreen on Joseph's moss, where Grandpa freed us before they shot. The heart of the matter to the winds we were scattered. Left, right, third rock, throwing eyes at our neighbors as we do 'em a favor. Ravens, hawks, creators, blocks, tied up in wages, trapped in gilded cages. Why can't we see? Are we so filled with the disease? Have to be brought to our knees? Screaming, God, oh why? 'Cause we know alligators can't fly. We are the saints of latter days. From the bayou we were raised, born evergreen on Joseph's moss, where Grandpa freed us before they shot. Magdalena was the shrine, Damaris on the vine. The secret to a Templar's knot, an entrance to an ancient swamp. No one has ever lived to tell secrets of Uluru so well. Trapped deep inside a cavity, but yet gave birth to thee. We are the saints of latter days. From the bayou we were raised, born evergreen on Joseph's moss, where Grandpa freed us before they shot. We are the saints of latter days. From the bayou we were raised, born evergreen on Joseph's moss, where Grandpa freed us before they shot. Now there's a lot of history in that song. That's a lot of history in 3 years of New Orleans missions. More than that. 6 years. I'm feeling a connection singing that. I haven't sang that in a while, so I hope y'all like that song. I need 3 badass guitar players. At least 2 men. I have an album, but all my songs promote a whole bunch of other artists. Most of them have more, and I might not even be singing. I'm not worried about that. The songs and the stories just need to get out. There's so many of us like that are sitting in position and have been for 3 to 4 years, but because of the cosmetics of this place and the flagrant ego of a narcissistic dominated men's world is what you're witnessing. What you're witnessing right now is what happens when women get taken out of every single one of their posts down here. That's what's going on. I came on here because they blocked my video talking about the explosion sounds that were going off in Oklahoma right before the earthquakes. Well, I got something to say about that. Number one, where they have me gridded down at the crossroads, which is basically your patient number 1 in a clone simulation program hooked into your telecom corridor, AT&T, Verizon, Mint Mobile, which is a joke in and of itself, and T-Mobile, which is basically just a merger and a pretend company made from the ones I've already listed, whenever you start understanding how the corporations work. There's only one, just like the oil companies, there's only 1 or 2 that are actually doing everything. The rest of everybody is in bed with somebody else in order to get something from the one, and then they make up a whole bunch of little pieces in between, and so they can build a whole bunch of middlemen architecture. Same way that we have whenever we go pay at a store. Who's down to make one card reader? Why do we have 50 versions of a card reader and then all these companies that are battling to make card readers, and then none of them are the same. All of them track different information. There's how many of them? But we need everything else in the world rebuilt. We really don't. We've kind of figured out how to make one of those. But in a world predominantly dominated by men in a low consciousness, this is what you get. This is it. This is it. And it is what it is. I have ancient knowings of this. Not in this timeline. This conversation right now takes me back to 2018, because that's where we're going to pick up with Oklahoma as well. But I'm explaining to you what I'm fixing to tell you about the booms that you're hearing. So follow along. 2018, whenever the full moon of Libra came, I had to get to Las Vegas. First, I had to go claim Las Vegas for the feminine, because our fathers and our forefathers are the ones who started that mess, and you ain't going to take none of it out from underneath their daughters. I can promise you that. I need everybody in the world to realize that whenever you're dealing with the chosen ones like us, and you're dealing with even Epstein's girls, because we are, then what you're dealing with is the most ancient DNA down here, and a whole bunch of dads that were made in the military, in the Masons, in your organizational structures that you called the Illuminati even, that you call Scientology, that, I mean, every single mass organization and country around the world has spewed, jizzed in a cup in order to make us at some point, and all of our dads are awake all the way up. And those are the ones that have been telling us what to do. So everybody that was getting blackmailed, everybody that was this, and this, everybody and all the oaths that were taken and then not done, instead sold out to the highest bidder. Oh, honey. I mean, realize that these are the ancestors that are teaching us how to set up a story to call them all out. You ain't gonna out freaking Mason us. You ain't gonna out nothing with us because we got all the information. It's why we were being sold. It's why they were trying to capture us. And we know all the stuff that they have no idea of, and we ain't in their caption, and we ain't in their captivity anymore. We're coming out, but it's a massive cylinder. Oklahoma had a dewdrop spell on it. I've talked about this before. It was a 1,000-year spell that was put on. Basically, it's what the Confederate War was fought for. When you start understanding how everything manifests down here in these geogrids and how the physics work and how your most powerful beings were all gridded down into the earth, into the south, into a pyramid, in a freaking giant puppet that they put out in the middle of the ocean and bring you out and feed you a cupcake and scrub your teeth every once in a while and then put you back in and then flip you upside down in order to hold the core of a simulation. Oklahoma had some boom shakalakas, and then it just started snowing, and then that grid broke from above and below. But here's the thing. Over here where I am, in the middle of Simville 01 point, behind my house over here that I was led to, because most of us were led to wherever we're staying in 2018, because we jumped out of the matrix. We weren't in your dimension. We weren't even really here. You thought we were because you saw us, but no. We were being split with the rest of the human race, but we were conscious of what was going on. So since we were conscious of what was going on, we were getting stretched. And Oklahoma had this dewdrop spell on it, and basically it was like a top hat over Texas. And when one of my girls left here in 2021 that was in the Shadow 9, and she drove back to Detroit, we had to do a maneuver right before she left, and on her way, driving through Oklahoma, which, by the way, she got the worst pedophilia type energies. Oklahoma is horrible. The amount of people that are going missing in Oklahoma and what's going down underground in those natural gas wells, yeah, right. There's nothing in there but a bunch of holder cells. If you want to know where a bunch of the people are missing, they're underground in Oklahoma. It's kind of like the Chicago of the freaking Underground Railroad. If Chicago being like the hub of all the planes meet there and fly out to everywhere else, well, if you're trying to get a whole bunch of people into Mexico and South America and through the Panama Canal and into Texas, blah blah blah, here we go, Eagle Pass, then Oklahoma is your holding station. And as she was driving through, 2 meteors fell out of the sky. Giant ones, right in front of her car. Boom. Landed in front of a McDonald's. The whole street caught on fire. That's how big our etheric bodies are. Whenever we move, that is what we break, way up there and way down there. And we're conscious. You ain't gonna put a hat on us and say, get on your knees, biatch. This time, you get on your knees. Whoever and all the ones, and I don't care, it don't matter. Every single little NATO country and every single dictator that's been doing this, that's been constantly Dubai, attempting to grid us down so that they can wield their little world off of it. You're getting tied up today and you're going down for the count tonight, right around 5 o'clock. So expect for your world to freaking crumble in some way, form, or another. We'll see how many are involved. That'll affect the land. I don't care where you are. You can send them all over here to the United States all you want. They're tuned to you. That ain't going to help you at all. It's actually going to give them some extra gas to drop some meteors. So keep doing it. You can't run the world like a giant tire weigh station anymore. You can't run the world like a truck station weigh station. You can't run the earth and the entire cosmos like you're balancing a tire. You effing retards. But it is what they were doing. Knowing the entire time that it was attached to ones like us that were getting bartered, sold, blackmailed. I mean, every single time a being would get ready, because there's a whole bunch that are in love with this. Oh yeah, we got many husbands down here. We've been alive a really long time. My DNA. We have a husband on every single dimension. That's why everybody was trying to love bomb us and do all that crap for so long, and it was so tricky because, yeah, on every dimension you have somebody you've left behind, and they're pissed off at you for leaving. By the way, this was the big industry thing. They's all mad because, oh, you led me to da-da-da-da-da, and then you left. No, you sold me, and I was taken because you signed the contract. I've watched it over and over and over and over and over and over. Every single time a man in my world would get close to making a decision to say fuck it and jump, it's like a radar detector goes off in the thing. They're watching, they know, and then all of a sudden they're going to London real quick to sign a contract, or they get offered a movie deal, or they get offered the Witcher Origins deal, which is what ended up happening January 22nd with that whole BlackRock mess. All of our men were so captured up into the entertainment industry, feeding them like lions, feeding them like zoo animals to convince them that we weren't nothing, convince them, oh, just sell your soul. I got a violation. I don't give a fuck. You can't run the world and try to take us over in every dimension and then send me a violation right now. Violate me no more. I'm violating you now. We're done. I don't care if the human race sees it or not. We know exactly what's going on. We know exactly because we've been there and we've been conscious throughout the whole thing. And there's depths to this that most, I would say 70%, I don't care how long you study it, 70% of the human race won't even ever fully understand this. But you don't have to unless you're gritted down in the earth and you got to get yourself out. But guess what? There's about 5 million of us involved in that procedure in and of itself. Because we weren't talking about just holding one realm. We were talking about they were trying to grid down a freaking multiverse. I command all clone batches and any DNA lines that were used in order to sedate the DNA lines. I command that energetic flip now, and they work in our favor. So the more weight that you put on our ship, the higher we go, baby. Give it gas. I paid $100 on gas. So did Natalia. We got $200 on gas. I'm calling it in right now. Gas it up. Behind my house, where there is now a neighborhood, that was even excavated by one of us, literally. And on the land right over here, and where I'm at the crossroads, I'm literally on top of some old castle structure. It's really big. You have to look for it. There's a bunch of cobblestones that were over here that they left that are going to be in the middle of the neighborhood, just like all around me over here in 369ville. They have cemeteries, ancient cemeteries that are the original daughters that were sold off, that just exist right in the middle of a neighborhood. And one of the roads is called Martha's Vineyards. And this is how I know this, because when I went back to collect it, then all of a sudden Obama's got a cook floating in his backyard. That part. Over here, where they have the main foundation of the castle, which, by the way, goes the entire subdivision, because these walls that are built over here, I don't know what facility this used to be, but it's definitely something. Parts of it in the front of the neighborhood over by Rosan on Boson that goes up to another type of satellite something, and then behind my house, for when I first moved over here, they had I would say it was at least 500 feet high, a giant AT&T, like 100 yards from my house on Eppright Road. Eppright. Now, in 2018, whenever I was doing all of this with my crew and getting up every morning, and when we were starting to do the blood, when we were starting to put everything together, when the collective was clean in Venus, what would happen is, there was this one little weird house that was over here that was in charge, that big AT&T thing was in the back of in their backyard, and that was the only house, and they had a sign up, do not enter, blah, blah, blah. Well, you bet your butt I drove up in there to their weird little greenhouse land. They had boxes of kitty litter. They had boxes and boxes of kitty litter. And the reason that I was interested is because I'd be on with everybody in the morning. We'd be uploading. We'd be rising. And boom, boom, boom. They all morning long. It's like they were lighting kitty litter or something on fire over here. I don't even know. I don't know exactly even what I'm hearing and what dimension where I am, because I'm starting to think that it's more the bottom of the ocean, to be honest. In a weird way, or the bottom of the cosmic ocean, because trust, in this weird simulation, when we're talking about the ocean, we're also talking about, it's not just a mermaid. You're a cosmic mermaid that ends up developing and going through a process of what you'd call a mermaid process, from getting from one of these weird galaxies to another in this weird ass freaking multiverse simulation that they had stretched out like a piece of skin, that they had de-skinned somebody and then just harnessed it to the freaking earth and then said, okay, everybody live underneath it. Well, not anymore. This morning, I've been having to stay up late. We're on watch for each other, so I've been having to stay up late. And then I woke up this morning, and boom shakalaka, outside again. Hadn't been hearing it since 2018. All of a sudden, all morning, you're going to blow those again. Then we've got Oklahoma that's hearing those booms right before the snow falls out, like it's a grid break, and then boom, and it's not even snow, it's that weird slushy stuff. That part. That part. Because it's sucking your energy up. It's sucking your water out of you. It's sucking it is what it was designed to do. And then hold it in a grid. The only difference is now the ones of us that were magnetizing it to the human race in order to suck your energy out, in order to make this whole thing possible, no longer are down there. So it I don't know what it's sucking out. Everything's being used as good because it was so evil. We've got Detroit, Michigan that has been hearing a humming sound, a strange humming sound. Well, yeah, you're coming out of the machine. There's no longer a human skin on top of the machine so that it's disguised as something else. Now the morph ability is gone. It is what it is. Everybody's starting to see it. I just ended a live over here with Colombia the other day. I was seeing it, I was naming it. Hermosa and Colombia. The dash in, going to Dubai. She moved in on me. She was in the same club I was at when I sang that night on Hermosa Pier after a month of laying energy there. And then Columbia comes in and does a haul on me, tries to throw me out of a window and then take me over, which is why we went raw and the Skeleton Keys came in. But Hermosa Beach and the Hermosa Beach Pier were a big 33 Sith that was inside of the earth that was holding up California in like this gate, and they were like 6 dimensions higher than everybody else. Well, guess what? When that sucker flipped, guess where it went? 6 dimensions lower. California making sense to you now? Everything on the galactic side was about me getting to California, them always pulling me to California in order to pull California into a lower galactic current so they could feed and turn everybody. And the entire industry in Hollywood and your dictators were helping them. Congratulations, Hollywood. We'll keep our money. We'll watch our own movies. Like, what the fuck? Oh, well, Chestia, what are you talking about? No, I'm just getting my movie contract. What are you talking about? This is how we always did it. What are you talking about? This is how it was always done. Yeah, when you had angelic support and a freaking body to be in, and when it was all set up for end days to begin with, and all of y'all were supposed to then come and help us, and if you would have done it, then we would have come up where we needed to. The people would have heard us. You would have been healed at the same time, but instead what you did was sold it all to the Antichrist. Because this was in days. And the entire time we was telling you, this is ascension, this is ascension, this is a procession, this is a 1,000,000-year count. No, I'm not going to connect with you. I'm not going to send you a Cash App. I'm not going to send you a Western Union. No, I'm not going to send you $30,000 again for you to trick us. But realize that my intention in sending out that cash is standing. And I'm with all of you. Collective paid. Collective paid in every freaking way. All the way down to ancestral death money, which is what we use to clear it. Money clearings down here change everything quicker than DNA clearings in a heartbeat. Because it was so evil how they were doing it. So, that's really I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. Right now, I'm at Crossroads, Texas, on the line between heaven and hell, literally, in an underground unit where the whole thing was set up from north to south since since the Indians, actually. I basically lived in California for 2 years as a visitor until the ops would always kick me out after I built up the energy so that other people could come in and take it over. As they were trying to spinal tap the earth. Again, on some skull and bones crap. Thing is, this time they tried to do skull and bones on a bunch of men. You kind of didn't understand the assignment in 1923, and you kind of don't understand why Skull and Bones was made from the get. Not what it turned out to be. I'm talking about the reason it was done. I need everyone to realize all this stuff that everyone's screaming, Skull and Bones, and they're so evil, and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, they are now, because they wouldn't let us out. But you got to stop and think, why was it done to begin with? Everybody was dead. This is the amount of sacrifice that our lines have put in, and there ain't no way they're going to come out winning. No way. It's especially in the United States of America. The whole United States of America foundation was laid from the beginning in order to stop this. It's why Masonry was made. It's what an AB negative pattern was. It's why everything was set the way it was. So that in end days, we had our own weird little druid thing to walk through down here, but it all has to do with the buying and selling of star seeds that came in here to help you freely to begin with that nobody knew about. That part. And we won't be trapped in this weird little world anymore. Your entire handling system and the RH negative handler systems and everything that was like that was originally set up in order to track and keep count and da-da-da-da-da. But then when you start taking embryos, taking ovaries, breeding your own, stealing placenta cords, building clone batches off our children, building clone batches off our toenails, making us give you our toenails or our pee in order to see our children so that you can keep your weird little sim world working and you can make more of them and print it. No. All because a few people knew something that everybody else didn't know. And then they were blackmailed for it and used for it and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then their ancestry karma set in. Because if they've been abusing it for a whole long time, then their karma, their universal karma set in the middle of it. It's why you really, that's why you have to, like, good and bad are no longer a thing. You need to take those words out of your vocabulary. Any information is good information. It's what you do with it that matters. If you have anybody coming and asking, I met a Brahma. We had to prove every layer. This is also why as handlers, and if you are being handled, you have to prove, and this is just the program. I'm telling you the program now. I'm telling you the highest degree of this program, where there really isn't any more people or beings attached to it. It's just you. The more powerful you are, the more that you're going to be tested as to, can you control your crap? Are you going to go freaking cray on everybody? Or are you just not going to do anything? Those of us who were bred for this, those of us easy veins and literally your veins and how your veins connect, all of us that are hybrids and the weird little lines and stuff it makes, that's all from mixing this and mixing that, mixing this and mixing that in order to make the most powerful being on the planet. If you're one of us, then you have a skill. You are good at something. I can promise you that. You're literally wired in order to disappear. You're wired in order to morph. You're wired in order to shapeshift. You're wired in order to make a power source. You have to control that in your energy frequency. You have to balance that out. You have to use your intellect, because this consciousness, you have to remember, technology has a consciousness too. AI has a consciousness too. Mushrooms have a consciousness. And in Oklahoma, that's what Muskogee and a musk just went boom shakalaka. Basically, you can think of Oklahoma as having a weird psilocybin freaking plasma on it. It's almost like they were trying to develop the whole, like artificially develop the plasma generation and the body plasma generation in some weird psilocybin mushroom layer. And I know a bunch of people that got caught in it too. Those penis envy mushrooms, do not eat those. If you do, don't call one of us to come get you out. DMT, stop doing it. Stop. What you're doing is you're taking it, you're going up to get a glance. As soon as you get up there, they trap you, then they keep your consciousness up there, and then they separate it, because really, whenever you DMT, all you're doing is seeing a glance of what you're going to be whenever you fully get your body together. But if you do it too soon without your body, trapped. They had all those Lemurian boys, man, mushrooms, freaking A, jacked up on them in that house. My battery's starting to get low. I yesterday, and I'm in a weird way. I'm sore today. This is the second 0 point day. We've got 2 more. We've been doing this. This is all happening. I mean, this ain't just now happening. This has been a 4-year, 400-year, 4,000-year, 400,000-year, 4,000,000-year plan on our side, not theirs. We can go back as far as we need. They can only go back when they started their weird little sim world. What's happening right now is that the infrastructure that you would call your reality, because everything involved has a masonry to it right now. That's why you have to learn how to manipulate it. You have to learn how to gas through it. This ain't a time to protect yourself. This is a time to bulldoze through it and show yourself what you're made of. You can't go around it. There's no way you can go around it. You're a shooting star out in space. You can't change course to go around something you're scared of. You basically, if you've got all space at your back, you just got to keep going and you got to go through it. I'm not telling the whole world this. I'm telling y'all this. What's happening right now is that the human program and the human code that was hacked into our body avatar and the reality that was made by it has been like this. The reality codes that were made from stolen DNA from princesses murdered and captive and I mean all over the world, you know, all of all of it. Anything that whole masonry that they've been attempting to write to put us in the future, which would be a Skynet to where you're in jail everywhere that you go. Everybody sees everything that you do. You're monitored. You need to go to work. You're too old to work. You're da 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 da. That's what was coming. We know. We just came through it. The rest of the human race is getting a dose of it depending on how much you tuned into it. If you signed up for it, then welcome to your sim world. You got to get yourself out. You got to start seeing through the cracks. Period. Dot. It is what it is. You're still tuned to it, so it's still your reality. If you've been working on yourself, you've been working on your healing, or even if you've been in your closet freaking praying for Christ or even Jesus at this point, because we had to clear Jesus because nobody even knew the correct name, which was the worst part for me and took 2 years. And it was nothing but galactic hell and a bunch of fucking brothers coming after me in order to stop me because too much money was on their head. That part. And they said they sold us out down to the line. Every single one of them sold us out. Every single one of them. No matter what they saw, no matter what they experienced, no matter how they saw it, no matter how clear they knew, every single one of them sold out to the highest bidder because they wanted to be the man in some way, form, or another. Well, half of you's gone. I even had one of them say, because he sold me and then I ended up getting back to him. I got out. And I still fully didn't know. And whenever I jumped back in, he goes, oh, what sweet piece of magic brought you back to me? Well, what in a sweet piece of magic is a magnet. Since evidently you were the last one who had hold of my line. And you know what the first thing he said to me was? At first he was happy. You know why I was happy? Because he thought there was no way that they could completely cut me out of his existence. Because I was such a part of his mind process. I was such a part. And I never met the dude. My energy was freaking giving him so much power, so much this and this. He could read my mind. He knew what. He had full control of my body. He did. He did. This is the one I had to birth out of. You know what he said? I vanished. Vanished. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. His ego had him so that there was no way that they were going to be able to take me away. So sure, give me the money and then try to cut her away from me. That's how fast it happens. All your woke people that are taking this consciousness, living in their own little world, and then trying to bring that into a simulation, that's over now. Now you're going to have electric grid fences, and now you're going to have an energy frequency that is a consciousness amoeba. You have one or the other. This big amoeba plasma don't fit in an energy grid. It blows it. I've kind of been showing everybody that for how long? And we've done everything we can. We did everything we can. We negotiated with the Middle East. I was negotiating with Dubai. Well, you got your weird little world and Dubai's flooding. And then we ended up in a Mecca box. We tried to negotiate with a commercial and boom shakalaka, you got Amazon TikTok shop and Venus is out here printing a bunch of bullshit for everybody. But then you ain't got no place to live and you ain't got no food and you better go work hard. We tried to negotiate with the entertainment industry, all of us. If they just would have done their job and not been taken over, then we would have walked in that and we could have changed it from that way. But no, since this is how it went down, then this is the feminine taking over. So sit back, relax, and get your mother on. It's time to go back to school. And I mean the entire human race. At this point, Mother Goose is trying to figure out how all the gooses connect so they can freaking get out of the chute. Whenever you pull out the root of something, when it's dealing with an illusion stacked over time, what you get is a power that nobody even knew existed. Rough. You have to be able to control it. When your divine feminine comes in, you're going to be mad. I was not this calm. I was not this emotionally stable. I was a freaking dragon on freaking nitrous whenever I was traveling around California for the first couple of years. If you did not want to go toe-to-toe with me, you definitely didn't want to try to take my cosmic children in Fort Collins like you did and then do a Mason burial over in the Mason tomb with little pink and green flags like you just stole my daughter, which is the child comet. No. Jennifer Lopez and Dubai Faza, I kind of need my DNA back from the children that you have because you've been buying and selling it and you ended up taking out 6 billion people from the future and you're in trouble. Affleck, AIG, ExxonMobil, Mercer Healthcare, IBM, Texas Instruments, Apple. Applegate. This was all Applegate. But apple shouldn't have ever been made is really called peaches. Peachy. See, I have a very, very, very... My Kosh library is coming back in on what was happening right before this went down in the dimension that I popped in from. On the other side of the parallel. That's what's coming in for the world. That's what's stepping in. That's all they've been mirroring is what we were doing on the other side, completely connected, and then trying to draw some type of board in order to magnetize it in. There ain't no land down here that belongs to no country. There ain't no land down here that belongs to no one man. There ain't no land down here that doesn't involve the entire human race. So do you want to live in a lab? Do you want to live in a board? Do you want to live in an electric fence? Or do you want to live on what you thought was Earth? If you want to live on Earth and you want to, for the society to continue the way you at least thought it was needed and the way things would at least seem to be running a little bit more smoother to where you weren't monitored 24/7, to where you weren't taken over and made to do crap and then you thought it was your idea. That comes with the human race. It's not a given. If you want to be in your body fully and have a human experience, it's no longer a given. You have to fight for it. And this is everybody down here. This is what time it is. You have to fight for your body. You have to fight for your life. You have to fight for your timeline. You've got to fight. Not with a gun. Not with machines. It's not how this war is won. This war is won. This war is won in a quantum layer that's been built for the past 3,500 years in all this mess. You've got to get through it. You have to understand the connections into true, and then how the Mason thing was formed. And there's one layer in between that is a quantum layer, and that is the layer that always kicked our butt. Now we've got directions. Now we know how to get through it. But your quantum layer is all about spiritual power and energetic power. There ain't nothing 3D in the quantum layer. Go watch Wasp Man and Ant Girl or whatever again. Go watch that again. And that, I don't care how much gold you got in that little bitty quantum layer. If you're in the weird little mushroom, it ain't gonna help you at all. there ain't no money down there that's gonna help you. You got to get through that layer. As you're coming through that layer in your etheric body, guess what's happening? It's mirroring in the H gate and in the xenon layer. There's two layers to that weird layer. First, you got to freaking blow up inside the layer and freaking take everything over inside the layer. Then that's creating a frequency on the other side the whole time that you're in it. So once you're able to realize, oh crap, I'm the ocean and I'm the ocean floor, and I just opened it up because this motherfucker is going to be a full-on water spout. It's basically opening up like a water portal inside the core, around the people even. But every single one of those frequencies that you're doing and changing in this quantum layer is reflecting from another side. It's a two-pronged thing. You might be doing it right now in the day. That's what's happening to me. It's like I was doing all these maneuvers in the day, and then at night I was having to clear this side, because it's like you can see it moving, but you're in the eye of the storm. That's how it works. The more sight that you have, the more that you can really see what's going on. So all I'm saying is every single bomb, every single bomb, every single jet flying around, every single bullet that comes out of anywhere, any type of ship movement going on in the ocean right now, we're utilizing it to our benefit. And so it'll just end faster, or you can stop, or we'll make you stop. But we don't have to show up in a freaking vet or a Humvee. We just turn the ocean upside down. And we have full backing to do it when it's time, if we need to. FYI. Human race ain't going to be lost because a bunch of ignorant people. Human race ain't going to be lost because of some Masonic dickheads that are running off some women that they shouldn't been and didn't have any legal control over anyway, because beings like me, we never had any rights. Are you kidding me? You're fighting for rights? Well, we were your templates. We never had any rights. Not any. Whenever we didn't do what we were supposed to, we got threatened that they were going to call the judge and take our children away, and then they would. And we're from the future. And if we don't have rights, then if the Divine Feminine doesn't have rights, and if Justice and Libra doesn't have rights, and if Cleopatra, your template and your skull and bones, which was all set up on Venus, by the way, and then whenever Venus wakes up, then the game's over. Well, that's the part they didn't like. Oh well, we stepped on Mars. Whose team are you going to be on? You going to be on my team? Or are you going to be on their team?